Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Orange County Funding Corporation monthly meeting for August 14th, 2024. And I'd like to call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Bill.
Jeffrey Christ.
Here.
Dean Tamburri.
Here.
Vincent Odock.
Here.
Mark Green.
Here.
Giovanni Palladino.
Here.
Linda Muller.
Here.
All right, 6 of 7 members. We have an excused absence with Susan Walski. We also have staff present, Kelly Riley, Bill Fioravanti, and Marty Boras. Also Mr. Jose Rojas from Acquisitions Marketing doing our AV. And we have a few guests this evening, Mr. Brian Sandvidge with Anshin, our monitor. We have Dr. Erica Hackman and Jane Samuelson, who are board members for Vision Hudson Valley. And I think we will have their executive director here shortly. Okay.
Welcome, everybody. I would like to call out the notice for this meeting, proof of notice. It's in our packets, duly noticed. And the next item would be the minutes for the June 26th, 2024 OCFC Directors Meeting. Any additions, corrections, a motion to approve?
Make that motion.
Motion to approve by Mark, second to that motion.
Second.
By Doc Odock, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried. Starting with the committee reports, Finance Committee, please, Mark.
Finance, again, as you're all aware, the last 2 months, we didn't get any application fees the last 2 months. All of our expenses are in line with what they have been previously. The only thing to mention is that we have a CD that's going to come due a day after the next time we meet. So we're pushing that decision off based on interest rate fluctuations. So we will talk about that at our next meeting in September. That is the end of that report.
Any questions for Mark on that finance report? Very good. Thank you for that report. I have trouble remembering if we have to make a vote on that, Bill. I don't think so.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Do you accept?
We accept.
Here comes Sue.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Sue. Can you hear us? No problem?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, Sue. We're just confirming if we
Hi,
need,
Jeff.
if we need to do a motion of acceptance for the Finance Committee report, which we just heard.
No.
Okay, very good. We'll move on to Governance Committee. And I would like to point out, it was my pleasure to appoint Linda Muller as the new chairperson for the Governance Committee, and would ask her to review the committee information.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did meet. We truthfully had no business to actually connect that meet to comment on for any approvals. I've got a copy of the bylaws for OCFC, which I have not really reviewed enough to make an appropriate comment, but that will be forthcoming. Bill did a UTEP update, and that was basically what our meeting entailed. And Mr. Chair, that is the report.
Thank you. Any questions for Linda on the Governance Committee? Thank you for doing that. Linda, moving on to new business, I'd like to jump down to Hudson Valley Venom. We have Patrick Manning here. Bill's going to introduce the project, and I believe we have another guest or two to speak towards that opportunity. They'll be with us in a moment.
I'll have you come up front here. That's okay.
Bill, would you want to introduce this
Sure.
opportunity?
Mr. Manning, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I introduced the idea of the project to you in my report. It's an exciting opportunity for us to gain a professional hockey team here in Orange County. It's been a real all-hands-on-deck kind of effort. The county executive first called us about it with an opportunity to be involved and help support this. It's something he's championing, something Amanda Dana, the Orange County Director of Tourism and Film, glad that she's here. She's been championing as well, so we'll hear from her in a couple of minutes. But they're looking for our assistance to bring the hockey team that Mr. Manning purchased from Elmira, bring it to Newburgh, the town of Newburgh, have it be at ice time. The facility there is just not ready to really have enough spectators to make this actually a viable, because it is a business and we're here for business, it's viable. Without some improvements, the facility can't be done. So Mr. Manning is here looking to see if the IDA can help. And again, we are expecting even the county executive to join us to voice his support as well. So without further ado, Pat, if I could give you the floor, make your introductions, please, and just kind of give us a little background of where you are with the project.
Sure.
And how we can support you.
Sure, and thank you, Bill, and thank you, Chairman. I appreciate it very much. I'm here along with Zainan Neshawat, who's the Executive Director of the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, Inc., who's the parent company of both, obviously, the MJN Convention Center in McCann Ice Arena in Poughkeepsie and the Ice Time Sports Complex in Newburgh. If you want me to, I'll start, and you say whatever you need to say, or what to fill in the gaps. I'd appreciate it. And hello, I don't know if you can see me there. My name is Pat Manning. I'm a lifelong Hudson Valley resident, and have worked on many projects in my adult life that led me here. To give you a brief understanding of where I come from in regards to sports entertainment, it really all started in the 1990s. I was a 20-something-year-old county legislator, and that was about the same time that my Southern Dutchess home of East Fishkill was hit with the layoffs and with IBM. We had to come up with a fast solution, and I thought quality of life would be the biggest jumpstart. That people were going to come back business-wise. They were going to diversify from, as our former county executive said at that time, the one-horse town, but we had a thoroughbred. We needed to find many horses for the stable. And to do that, it was going to be having people come, bring their families, and there had to be something to do. Part of that was, I thought, was some type of entertainment during the summer. That resulted in a 6 months search and for what became the Erie, Pennsylvania Sailors, that became then the Hudson Valley Renegades. I was asked to build a stadium in 78 days, and I put together the team of professionals, and we built it in that amount of time. And 30 years later, as a Yankee affiliate, unbelievable amount of money that's been injected into the economy, into the Orange County government's economy as well, because as a park, considered a park, it also generates income for other governmental services. I don't think anyone can attest that that is not a success story. It also helps with quality of life. Obviously, having an arrow, I keep using this analogy, but having an arrow in the quiver of when someone like the director of tourism or the head of the IDA or the county executive himself comes out and says Orange County is the place to be. Obviously, Stewart Airport is a big asset. Being at the center of the universe with 84 and the thruway is a big asset. The orchards that we have and the dairy farms are a big asset. But also people are looking for something to do. When we first looked at this, we coined the term the winter renegades, because after the last apple is picked and the last leaf is dropped, pretty much there's not a lot to do. And during the winters, except maybe go to an IMAX movie. And I'm being semi-facetious, but it is something that people look at if they're going to move here, or people look at if they're going to start a business here. To explain where I came from that after doing the Hudson Valley Renegades, I wound up having a stint in the Assembly for 12 years, representing Columbia and Dutchess counties. Then the rest of my time has been with a family real estate firm that I continue after my parents have passed. I'm Economic Development Director for the town of East Fishkill, which comprises iPark in Dutchess County, and our growth is pretty impressive there. And again, we certainly sell quality of life whenever we can. I was former Main Street manager for the city of Beacon during their renewal. I've built affordable green housing for workforce housing for Martha's Vineyard for firefighters and teachers and like that. So I've been all over, and I understand what's needed in order to present something that will be attractive. I would not have spent six figures of my own family's money in order to say this is worthy of coming here in the Hudson Valley and being in Orange County if I didn't test case it. And that happened around September of last year, when I received a call from a semi-professional league that was starting up in about 5 states. There was 12 teams. These are people who work during the week, but they still want to play competitive, full contact hockey. It's very entertaining. A lot of times we say, we have entertainment, and by the way, we play hockey. But they want to entertain and also be competitive. They're not on the way up, they're not on the way down, they just love the sport and the camaraderie. I said I would be interested. They called me because of my past experience with the Renegades, and they said, would you be interested? I said yes. We started at the city of Poughkeepsie, and that's where my relationship started with Mr. Neshawat, and who's, again, the executive director of the Civic Center and the McCann Ice Arena. And we said, let's try this out. What turned out to be an experiment turned into the highest number in attendance for the entire league, in the multi-state league. The last couple of games, we are actually, because of the fire marshal, we were turning people away. Couldn't fit any more people in there, but the fans wanted to come. We had a terrific revenue that came out of there for both the not-for-profit Civic Center, and we paid all our bills, and we wound up winning the championship, which is just a cherry on the ice cream sundae. I received a phone call the week after from the commissioner of the Federal Prospects Hockey League. That's the real deal league. That's professional individuals. If you know the league structure, it's a little bit different than minor league baseball, but there's 4 leagues that feed into the final rise into the NHL. You can go right to the NHL, or most of the time people go in, and the Federal Prospects is taking prospects and putting them into the feeder system to get to the ECHL or the AHL. I know they're all initials, but the point is moving up to the Professional Hockey League. So these guys, they are, I should say, guys and gals, because there's also female hockey players in this league as well, mostly goalies, and impressive, but they're looking for the chance of going all the way up. So they eat, sleep, and practice hockey. So this would be a different change, where I would have to feed, house, feed, house, pay, because they're professional hockey players. And I was asked if I would consider purchasing a relocated team that was leaving Elmira and wanted to go to Hudson Valley, and what we were able to put together ourselves in the Civic Center with what is the Hudson Valley Vipers, which we had in Poughkeepsie. They said, would you like to just change it over and do it in Poughkeepsie? And I said, no, there's a county that it makes sense for, and if this is an international opportunity, it seems to be makes sense to be closer to to Stewart Airport and the thruways. And by the way, our nearest rival is the Danbury Hat Trick, so there's a good rivalry there, so on and so forth. Hey, let's do it in Orange County. So I'm somebody who sometimes, I make the decision, and then I come and I speak to the leaders, but the leaders, starting with the chamber and Bill and the county executive and Ms. Dana and on, they all just stepped up. The town of Newburgh, they have just been fantastic to try to figure this out, because there's 2 phases here. One is getting us being able to play by our first game, which is Friday, October 18th. Really, it comes down to 2 major items, which is seating, because there's really a lack of seating in the rink 1 of Ice Time, and 2, bathrooms, to make sure health-wise and making sure the fans can go to the bathroom when they need to go to the bathroom, and we don't have these long lines where people will then just turn away and not come back and say, this facility is not, to our liking. Those two things are a big issue. There's, as you can see in the list that I gave to Bill that was requested of me, there's heating. There's a heating issue that we'd like to handle, because sometimes it can be psychotically cold in an arena unless you deal with a certain radiant heating that comes down on the, not on the ice, but the fans, so you don't really realize. But when you pack a place, actually they ask you to turn down the heat because of body heat. And sound and light equipment that we're still working on, but it's part of the package of entertainment. They got to hear and they got to see. So I think what I put together was a reasonable package for the impact that this professional team can bring to this county. Above and beyond the quality of life, which is I started with, there is a sales tax revenue and job creation, and obviously the impact to local businesses. We were just talking in the other room about the fantastic way that sports entertainment allows a local business to affordably advertise on a dasher board, on a banner, with what we call interactives, where the public address announcer is talking about something like, there's a call that somebody doesn't like or the home team doesn't like. Well, the PA announcer can say, well, those refs, they need glasses. Let me tell you, Dr. Jones in Warwick is the place they should go. Those little things that we can do, which is fun, but there's a loyalty it's a rabid loyalty of hockey fans to go where we ask them to go and do what we ask them to do. So if we can provide that over and above like the six-figure agreement I just struck with Mount St. Mary's to house the players and coaches, to the sign company that's going to be doing all new signage for the Icetime Arena, because we have a letter, may I speak on that? Okay, a letter of intent in place for a high six-figure investment in a new naming sponsor, so the Icetime will be renamed a local Orange County business. To announcement we're going to be making tomorrow, a multi-year investment by a Heritage Financial Credit Union for the Venom themselves, that will stabilize our funding, for at least 3 years while we continue to ramp up ticket sales and everything else. It really comes down to concessions, ticket sales, corporate sponsorships, and merchandise. That's how we make our money and pay our bills and feed our players and pay the salaries. But again, having an arrow in our quiver here in Orange County of a professional sports team, I think will be the gift that keeps on giving. I'm open to any questions that you might have, and Mr. Neshawat, if you want to say a few words. Oh, and Amanda, do you want to?
Yeah, I'd love to
go
ask
first? I'm sorry, Bill. I didn't mean
No,
to.
that's okay. I just would love to have her talk
Yeah.
about what she sees as the potential economic
Where to
impact.
stand.
I think right over there, just unless you want to feel short, not next to Pat.
No, I'm not standing up to Pat.
Yeah.
That's not. Thank you, Chairman, thank you, Bill, for letting me speak. I think I should come out with a blanket statement that says that the Orange County itself is very supportive of this minor league team, even considering Orange County right now. It's something you strive for. In sports tourism, it's a sector in tourism that basically Orange County is on the rise. I had the opportunity to go represent Orange County at a trade show called Teams. So Teams is a place where you go and you show all of your inventory and you say, I want your tournaments to come to me. Here's what we have. You lay it out on the table and you talk about, please come here. How many do you have? 10,000 here, 5,000 there. And you connect them with your sporting events, and places to have tournaments. Often, hockey tournaments come up. So I met with a couple of people promoters who are looking to place some hockey tournaments. I did mention Icetime. They said, we'd love to be there, we'd love to come to Icetime, but, however, sorry, there's not enough seats.
That's why we're here, yeah.
So they said, we would consider, and we bring in these thousands of people to have these tournaments, but they're in a deficit for seats. Now, that has come up. That's a real life example. But to get on about how we really should be embracing a minor league team, it is true that when the last apple is picked, and that's a great expression, that, there's often things, not to do outside, we have to look to inside. That's one reason why this type of a program and entity is great for Orange County, because it will have something to do in those winter months. Going to hockey games is incredibly fun. People who go to hockey games spend a lot of money. These people will be staying in our hotels and spending money in our communities. It's a win-win. Additionally, on the off season and when they're not being used for hockey, we can multi-use this for events. Last year, the county invested some dollars into an economic feasibility study for a conference center and a multi-purpose center. And it came up in the study that we are at a deficit for sporting events and sporting properties. So this falls in line with what a study has told us, that we really need to be more competitive in our tourism economy. Our county executive has mentioned to me that he wants a more concerted effort to focus on sports tourism. More resources are going towards this industry as a whole. We're considering putting a program together next year to give grants out to places that are bringing in tournaments. And we are also going to be collaborating with, hopefully, when they come here, we're going to be collaborating with them next year on a marketing initiative. So we really are very, very supportive of this. This is something we crave, we want. It'll round out our tourism economy. And I speak on behalf of the county executive as well when we say we're very supportive of this project.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks so much. Had anything else you want to articulate about your actual ask?
Yeah, I didn't really touch on it. Phase one, as I said, is the immediate needs in order to get us playing and looking like we should look like in order to have professional hockey. There is a bigger picture here, and that is something, just to tag on what Amanda said. Our chamber president brought up something to me when we first met. It was like, it would be amazing to have an arena that we could actually be able to tout for so much more than just hockey or Disney on Ice. And she used an example as she's president of the Chamber of Commerce Presidents for New York State right now. But she can't invite the presidents down to Orange County because the number of people who would come would far exceed anything that we have. So, it really brings it home that a county that is so forward-thinking as Orange County doesn't have the facility. I know we've been talking about conference centers, and we've been talking about what if we had an arena for a real sports team. Well, talk about chicken and the egg. I'm giving you the sports team. This is going to happen one way or another. How we make this work for the number of people who will be coming to Orange County to see the games will be an expansion from the approximately 1,100 seats that my proposal that you have in front of you would assist into approximately 3,200 seats. Now that's the architects and the engineers and everybody penciling it in, and that's where Mr. Neshawat, with his business experience, is trying to figure out how we do it on that 15-acre site. But it makes sense to go to something of that nature, because most of the arenas that are being built or renovated in this league with new teams or relocated teams. I'm the only relocation, everybody else is new. Athens, Georgia, Monroe, Louisiana. They're building 5,000 seat arenas. We're not even thinking that large, but other people are. But we know we're going to turn people away even with this request, which is a good thing, fear of missing out. But come season 2, season 3, we have bigger plans to put Orange County in the map.
Good, thank you, Pat. My name is Zidan Neshawat. I'm the executive director at the Health and Civic Center. Like Pat mentioned, we have the music venue in Poughkeepsie, MGM Center, the Can Ice Arena, and Ice Time Sports, of course. And Dana and Pat, they touched on the direct benefits of these teams, but the indirect benefits for us were, and I forgot to mention this, public speak, it's not great, but we're not-for-profit also. Yeah. And so the indirect benefits for us, it's this this brings a totally different morale, because we kind of peaked as far as how much we could do with the infrastructure that we have. And like it comes to seatings, bathrooms, and everything they touched on. And so as our programs, like I said, we peaked, and there's not much more we could do. So when Pat brought this to our attention, you know, this opens up the doors for us to expand on our Learn Escape programs, our Junior Rangers programs, because we're affiliated with the New York Rangers. So our Junior Rangers programs, our figure skating, and our in-house contests, our, you know, all these other programs that we have to offer. You know, there's a trickle-down effect from this team. And we're going back to last year. You mentioned the Vipers.
Yeah.
You know, I was kind of pessimistic. Let me share the story. So Pat Kane's like, hey, you know, we have this team, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. And I told him, I was like, I don't know, if Marist has their games, there's never more than 200 people. We're talking as friends, so I gotta be careful. He said, no, this is different. We're selling entertainment. This is gonna be a show. It's not just a hockey game. And he doubled down, like, I need you to spend money on heat, I need you to do all this. I was like, whoa, how, we gotta spend like 30 grand we don't have, just so you could bring this project. Fast forward, we were averaging, what, 600-700 people a night. And we had a staff, more people, our staff would double per night. And our Learn to Skate program, kids from the stands were signing up every night they were there. So there's this trickle down effect that I was mentioning, and the employment opportunities that we were able to provide, and the action it brought to the ice arena, it was something else. And the board is very excited to work with Pat, and we thank you guys for
Thank you.
listening to us. Yeah.
Any questions from the board at this point? Doc?
Yes. Now, assuming that everything goes well, you know, when do you think you'll be up and running? When do you think?
We have a goal, and is it still October?
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
Friday, October 18th against the Binghamton Black Bears. That's how real this is.
We have a goal. We have all our vendors in regards to the seating and the bathrooms. Our vendors are lined up. They're waiting for us to say, you know, we have the blessing. So as far as lead times and I know when it comes to contracting, there's shortages and things like that. You know, the time we live in right now. But we have our ducks in a row, and we saved the hardest ask to the end. And
You know, everybody is trying to pitch in. The town of Newburgh, had $4,000 in county tourism funds. They're doing a big park renovation. They have the ARPA funds, and they're like, listen, we only have $4,000, but Pat, we're going to send it over to you guys because we want this. We understand what this is, and we're going to use it towards signage to get people to understand where to go. Has nothing to do with the fact that the coach that I hired is Josh Newberg. That had nothing to do with it, but that is true. But I mean, everyone's throwing in whatever they have in order to make this a reality for the Civic Center. Not for me. It's not going to. I'm just going to be one of many tenants that Ice Time will be a beneficiary to.
And that's the thing. Like, these are things we need. Like, with or without this team, like, we need this upgrades. We need this infrastructure just to be modern with other ice arenas and other ice rinks. And we're already investing, hoping this team will come. Our restaurant's been dormant for 2 years now, and so we're on track to open in the next 3 weeks. So we're doing what we need to do to make this alive and be fully staffed by the time October comes around, and we're ready to welcome, you know, thousands of people eventually.
Yeah.
Mark, any thoughts? I know you have a hockey background.
Well, I do have a lot of thoughts, but I'd rather ask a question.
Yep, that's fine.
What do you want?
Yeah, what is the ask?
We have asked for, I think it was approximately $340,000. That was a list of 5 items that we felt was important to get to where we needed to be come October 18th. We understand that the county cannot contribute at this time, and we're working with the county. We have their full support, but we're also working on the structure in order, because they understand the bigger picture that's going to happen beyond this. Seating, bathrooms, heat, sound and light, and I think there was a $15,000, we can just toss out right now, $15,000 for a platform for 100 standing room only people. We will figure that out. But those essentials, heat, light, sound, bathroom, and seating is critical for this too, because again, there's just different places only certain places you can get the revenue, and it really all generates with having a fan be able to come into that seat and enjoy the game safely and comfortable.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Question.
Linda.
So the Mid-Hudson Civic Center is the owner of the building?
Correct.
And as the owner, you don't have the resources to do an upgrade to your building?
No, like I said, we're not-for-profit, so our budget can't really keep up with the maintenance that the building needs.
So there's no equity in the building?
I don't understand the question.
Is there equity in the building to borrow against to do some of these, as the landlord, some of these improvements?
In the form of borrowing
Yeah,
against that?
yeah.
Yeah, good question.
I don't have the answer right now. I could find out for you. Again, so a little bit, so this is a not-for-profit. I sat on the board, and up until last year, our executive director at the time resigned abruptly, and so I volunteered until we found somebody. So as far as
Congratulations for the volunteerism.
Thank you. So my point is, as far as the history and everything off the top of my head, I'm learning as I go.
If I can maybe just help you out a second.
Yeah.
So, and forgive me, I don't want to talk down to you. What we're asking is that even if you're a not-for-profit, there's value in your buildings.
Sure. Yeah. So we do have. I sort of understood the question, but we own two facilities. We own. We do have a loan that's out. I'm not sure which facility this was on. That's why I was hesitant to answer the question. But so yes, we do have assets if we need to borrow. That we have opportunities.
And I'm going to throw in and just say, if many of you remember, especially pre-pandemic and during the pandemic, ice time was mothballed for a period of time. Mr. Nashawat has turned a not-for-profit with 2 facilities that was in the red, was always looking for county support, to a facility that is in the black now. And that's done with structural limitations at one facility, functional obsolescence, because since post-pandemic, there's a lot of issues where people don't want to come to an arena the size of the NJN Convention Center. He's dealt with all of that, but with his business experience, he's turned it from the red to the black. Can we just borrow the money? That is a great question. I only speak also on behalf of the Civic Center because I've always been trying to help them raise money, and I'm going to be heading up the capital campaign separate from what I do with the Venom to put together about $4 million for the capital campaign for the larger expansion, because it's a real expansion. But to that point, I don't know if we could, but and it's just, we're in a time crunch. It doesn't mean we take it lightly, but that's where we're at. There might be a refinancing of everything as we're looking at the bigger picture, going to 3,200 seats, but can't speak on that now.
Do you have any other commitments towards this 340,000? The letter points to a number of very positive efforts going forward. It doesn't talk numbers, of course, but I'm just wondering if there's anyone else you can partner with as part of that 340,000.
340 right off the bat. I told you 15. I will make that happen. There's other purchases that I'm going to be doing that are seating and like that the Venom is going to do, because I'm not going to ask them to have to shoulder that as well. But there's certain from high tops to high chairs to things that are along the glass that will that deserve a bless you.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, there's an expenditure that we're going to do over and above what we need to do for the team. But these are larger items that I can't swing right now. And there's some things that we're doing, like if you see the purchase of a bathroom system for $89,000, it's $5,000 to $7,000 a month just to rent it. To have that will allow us what they call potty parity, and allow to have enough bathrooms that we would then put into the sewer, because the Civic Center has water and sewer there, that, you know, that would be sufficient enough and allow for fans to go outside, to go back inside to someplace warm, to go to the bathroom, versus you know, one of the green porta potties we all grew up with. There's those little things that we need. A bleacher system, we had quoted $360,000 at one time when I first started talking to Bill. We found a bleacher system that works for $64,000. So we're not trying to buy the Cadillac of anything here. We're trying to say, okay, what works? Because we don't want to put $89,000 into where the bathrooms might be, because we have the architects designing right now where the bathroom should be and what walls are going to be taken down, and we don't want to throw good money to bad and tear down bathrooms that would, you know, that would have to be relocated for the larger facility that's coming.
Let me ask you, I don't know why I like talking about bathrooms, but I do. Is this a temporary structure? Is this something that could be moved? So
The bathrooms?
yeah, so
Yes.
let's say you are going to expand, and then I would hope that you put in permanent bathrooms, let's say if things go well the next 2 to 4 years.
Correct.
Is this a system that the county could then take and utilize for other things?
See, I like how you think. Yeah.
Well, I think about crap.
Yeah. Yes, literally and figuratively, yes.
Mr. Chair.
Linda?
Just a couple of more questions, and I do apologize. So you had stated that you have a bank who is doing a 6-figure commitment to the project. Could you tell us what the total cost is
No,
for phase one?
I said Heritage Financial
Sorry.
Credit Union
Okay,
is doing a commitment to the Hudson Valley Venom.
okay,
In order for our stability, it will be announced tomorrow
Okay.
publicly. It's a 3-year commitment for presenting sponsors, so they get their name on the thing, and the name and the ice and the couple
so
things.
is the
Right.
340,000?
There's another high six-figure amount that is going to be donated for a new naming sponsor for the Civic Center. This is part of the $4 million capital campaign that we're going to put together, but it'll be over a 10-year period. So there'll be a few of those that will go over a 5 to 10-year period that we could potentially borrow on, or you know, finance and work with the idea on financing and do what we have to do for a project that could cost approximately $8 million.
So the $340,000 that you're asking for is the money necessary to open the doors?
To open the doors.
All right.
I
so
mean, not literally, but best to say, to open the doors.
So we are the only people who would be coming up with that 6 figures to support that opening. The
That-
county is not
that
putting any
The county,
dollars in.
not that
Not
it,
this year.
well, I'll speak to.
Yeah, not this year, because we have to have a program together that we would be equitable and fair to all sporting facilities to apply for. So that's why we couldn't do something right now. We will be collaborating with them next year on a marketing incentive, marketing initiative.
So the $340,000 that you're asking of the IDA, OCFC, sorry, not the IDA, is a one-time ask.
That is correct, but it'll be part of a, you know, it's almost like, you know, a series of dominoes. Newburgh, and then I come here, and then the CFA grant, we're gonna be working with the Orange County Partnership to put together in order to say, look at the participation by, you know, interested parties here in the county that we're gonna go for the larger expansion. There'll be private funding. I know there's someone who might want to you might want to throw in on the larger project, there are people like this entity that will be announced hopefully in less than 30 days. I have signed an NDA, but I was able to say that it's happening. That'll be the 4 million that we raised there.
But to open the doors, it's not, was it 340,000, 360?
Yeah. Well,
That's not what it's gonna cost to open the doors. We're also spending 200,000 of the Civic Center money to make this happen as well, that I guess we're only presenting for what we need, but there's things that we need that we're doing on our own, such as a new Zamboni that could handle, how many games a year? 50?
28 home games a
28
year.
home games a
with
year.
Multiple practices.
That alone is around $130,000. We have to, part of, encouragement from the Venom, we put another $75,000 to our restaurant to bring it to spec, so he could have more seating for more spectators and other upgrades, minor upgrades, cosmetic throughout the lobby and throughout the building that, you're talking around, that alone around 50,000. So we're also we have skin in this, and we're also doing our part as well.
I appreciate that. I was trying to ascertain what percentage of the total first phase are you asking the OCFC to fund, I guess.
We asked for 340,000, and I've subtracted 15,000 of it during this meeting.
That I get, but what percentage of the project is it?
Because you've already put in 200,000.
Yeah, I'd say you're putting in over 300.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 50-50 with the Civic Center.
And then finally, there's a whole lot of programs that happen. Kids are playing hockey, and there's open skate time, and all the things that happen at ice time. Does that go away, or does that stay?
It strengthens those programs.
So those programs continue to stay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, so you asked me a question before. So I am biased. I've played hockey for 30 years. I have extremely tangentially, extremely not involved, but one of my best friends growing up, Menacing Valley graduate, did very well for himself in finance, retired, moved to Florida, and he actually founded an expansion team in the ECHL, which was the Orlando Solar Bears, which he then ran for several years and then sold to the NBA Orlando Magic. So I do have a passion for this. It is something that I've frankly dreamed of, trying to approach my friend to get a minor league hockey team to the Hudson Valley. And so I think there are some tremendous benefits. To your point, Linda, this not only doesn't threaten what you're describing, it will elevate it to levels that are probably hard to understand, because now you're going to have things, the games are only going to be on weekends because that's when they can get people there, right? You're not going to get a lot of people on a Monday night to a minor league hockey game. But this now, you're going to have professional skaters with those kids, like you're going to, the kids are going to be one of your biggest marketing opportunities. So you're going to expand the opportunities for those kids. Plus, having actual seating to have tournaments, not just for that, but there might be opportunities off-season when you melt the ice to have indoor soccer tournaments and indoor lacrosse tournaments, which in Canada it's called box lacrosse. So there are a lot of other things there. With all that said, this is a leap of faith, because there really isn't a plan B. Like you heard me asking about the porta potties, right? Like we're trying to think of a plan B. If we go forward with this, we are taking that leap, because we're not gonna, if this doesn't work out, we're sinking money. Make no mistake about it. It's a difficult discussion to have. As I was listening to some of the things, and I don't know if it's appropriate to talk about it now or not, but one of the things I was thinking about was, can we, and I don't know, we're on uncharted waters. We haven't had this kind of situation before. Is there a split between what we can bring up and what is a loan? you know, over time? And are there ways that we can partner with this to try to mitigate some of our risk, you know, or to at least come up with some ideas? So I don't have an answer, but those are some thoughts that have been playing in my head.
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to get Giovanni in here. I think you had a thought.
I just want to make sure I understand. There's basically two things happening here, right? There's the hockey team and the owner of the building. So the hockey team really is not asking, right? So that's really an ask for the building, which some of these things were considered capital improvements. I don't know if the bathrooms would be, because they're temporary bathrooms. Is that it? Are they going to be mobile? I didn't understand that part of it.
It's a mobile bathroom that'll be parked there and hooked to the sewer system.
But you're renting it every month, so that wouldn't be.
No, it'd be a purchase.
Oh, you're
It's more
purchasing.
cost effective
Yes,
purchasing.
Is that considered a capital improvement? If
So-
it's temporary?
Well, that's why I was asking. So we're going down a rabbit hole with my own personal life. My wife and I run a charity event, and so we've done it for 35 years, and we used to do the porta potties, and that was not a pleasant thing. So we started renting, like the ones, if you ever go to a wedding, an outdoor wedding.
Of course.
Right, so I think that's kind of on the line of what they're talking about. But the point is that to rent something like that is $7,000 a month. So by the first season, you've truly flushed the money down the drain. And in this sense, he's saying it actually makes more sense to buy it. This way we could use it year two, what have you. And I'm saying, well, you know, if worst comes to worst, that could be an asset that we could then take back and use for other county
If we want.
needs, if that happens.
So the bleachers is gonna bring capacity to 3,200 people?
No.
1,100.
Approximately 11.
What's the capacity now?
Bleacher-wise, 400.
Okay.
400.
And what do you need to break even?
To break even, 700. 700, we were doing more than 700 for the other league at the other facility. You know, I don't think that's gonna be an issue. The average, the normal average for the Federal Prospects Hockey League is now up to over 2,000. So you know, you would think that we're turning 1,000 people away. I don't know, you know, brand new, but we're certainly, I have a comfortable feeling about 700, seeing that we're already doing it with a lesser product.
Just the last question,
Okay.
and it's really for tourism. It's just like if somebody comes in and does a seeker financial analysis, I'm sure that the county tourism is gonna do a study of what the benefit is gonna be, at least to that part of the county, maybe even to the region. I know there's already a shortage of hotels and other things. I would be curious to understand what that net benefit would be to the county, because that kind of would support us as part of our mission, right? To help some of that. So I would be curious to hear that, if there is any data or if you need time.
I
But
did pull some data actually from our consultants. Like I mentioned, we had a consulting company do a full feasibility study for conference center, multi-purpose center, which included sporting arenas. And I did have a chance to talk and look into the potential economic impact for this. At the numbers, roughly around 800 to 1,000, the economic impact per season for the community is 1.46 million per season. That does not include ticket sales. So that would be an economic impact locally based on one season, based on a conservative number of, 800 to 1,000 per team.
One final question.
Yeah, I want to get Dean in, and then we're going to have to wrap up. Go ahead.
I guess the $340,000 question is, if we were not to fund the project, would the project continue?
I would be lying if I said it would be all or nothing. We'll have to find a way. I mean, people will have to stand. One of the things that I think your attorneys asked was from a letter from the commissioner that was drafted, and I don't know if that was circulated.
I've not shared that with the board, but I will.
Okay,
actually.
yeah, if you would, yeah, and in no uncertain terms, it's, the league has taken a leap of faith on my recommendation, this is the place to be. I'll let the letter speak for itself, but it's not like, if you don't give the 340, we're not, you come, no, it's, we'll have to look at the bigger picture of the league and Mr. Manning's investment, because if he cannot run the, you know, the team, it reflects on the league, if he can't run the team properly. I just want to throw, there's many ripple effects that are already happening, and again, maybe I glossed over, for example, Mount St. Mary College. I'm about to invest over $120,000 in their dormitories that are now shuttered because post-pandemic, you know, the people are just not coming. We're going to pay them to allow our players and coaches to stay there. In turn, we're going to have those players be able, and coaches, talk to their sports management program. In turn, we're going to take their sports management interns and give them jobs at Ice Time and with Venom and the Vipers. So I'm only bringing this up because it's real. It's just not, you know, us taking money or the Civic Center taking money. It's about us being able to just to circulate that back into the community, and we will do so.
You okay, Dean?
Yeah, no, I just a couple of things, just like, for example, obviously our mission here, whatever, is to make Orange County better for all, right? And this sounds like a great plan, et cetera. I mean, but has our like attorneys or anybody reviewed these plans and whatnot? And I hope you're so successful, but is there, getting back to where it's all like a loan or something, we could put something in that if you are that successful, we can take this money maybe back or a portion of it to do another project. I mean, is that something that we can be looking at? I mean, with our attorneys and whatnot to review these plans and maybe build something like that in it, if it's possible to recoup some of it for another project? And the next thing is like, what is the time frame? Like, if we don't make this decision today, it's done? I mean, this is it tonight? Or do we have...
The bathroom, that's a great question. The bathroom, but there is one left that we know of that we can get here in time. The bleachers takes 2 to 3 weeks, so let's say 3 weeks, and it'll take at least a week to build. So we're about 7 weeks out to really redlining, you know, before the practices start, and these items are needed. And there's another. And all the quotes for, I think, at least 3 to 4 of the 5, 3 of the 5, I have given the bill. So you can see the numbers. We're not puffing them up, and you know, it would be a direct payment.
I don't doubt what anybody said. I just, you know.
No, I know that, but I want you to know. I'm not just saying it's 96 for heating. It's actually 129,000 for the heating. But the Civic Center was going to throw in. We said, let's just say this number, because, you know, we're...
You have to.
Right, exactly.
I might just mention, and partly to wrap up, Bill and I did speak with council earlier today about this opportunity. We added it to the agenda kind of last minute because we honestly thought it was not ready and almost dead. But we saw some light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you for doing this August 10th letter. Was that Friday? I think it was. When we talked with Pat. Our intention today was the presentation of the subject and information session for the board to learn. It's possible that if some things come together, we need more documents from Pat and the Mid-Hudson Civic Center parent company on how all this is going to work, the arrangements with the league, to begin to build some confidence. Partly to answer your question, but it's preliminary from our standpoint. I am prepared to ask the board for a special meeting if it really comes push to shove and we see a good opportunity we want to close in on here. Having Amanda here and the support of the county exec, I think adds to that momentum. So,
Mr. Chairman, if I may be bold, if there is any chance that a commitment could be made subject to, then the ball's in our court to give you the documents that the funding corporation would want in order to have a comfort level to move ahead to another, maybe like it's in more of a letter of intent. If you get us X, Y, and Z, then we'll-
Honestly, Pat, we did discuss that, and we're just not to that point
Okay.
today.
Okay.
One more, if I may, one more question that I'm gonna ask for you. Or a comment. You were talking about, expanding, you're talking about future expansion, what have you. Anything would have to have some sort of component in it for our commitment to local labor. And so that would be something that you need to think about, because if you're planning on doing these kinds of things and this expansion, you're talking about it's a steel building, you're gonna need steel workers, those kinds of things. For us, we would want the commitment that you would use our threshold of 85% local labor. So that's something for you to think about.
Okay, thank you.
If I might say
Appreciate that, yes.
one more thing, because I know we're worried about our Plan B, and of course, we're not in this with a chance that this might fail. Like, we truly believe that this is going to be successful and great for all parties. But since we're Plan B is in the air, like what's going to happen if this doesn't work out? What we're going to do with our money? It's it's a priority for me. I know, but it doesn't mean it's a priority for all you guys. But the money is still going to a not-for-profit that's been in the community for 20 plus years that needs it. Like, we need these upgrades. It's gonna go to good use regardless of the venom or not. Like, these are necessary upgrades for us to last another 20 years and grow our programs. So please don't look at it like, oh, we wasted our money on this venom. It's not, because the building will absorb these benefits regardless of the venom or not. So for what it's worth, like, I know there's other fish to fry, other priorities that are much bigger than us. But I just wanted to clear that up.
Okay. We have one more,
I just got a message from our county executive. He wanted to say a few words. I'm so sorry I didn't.
He's coming in right now. Should be. He's having trouble joining? Or? No, there he is.
Hey guys, I'm in.
Thanks for coming in.
Hey, good to see everybody. How we doing?
We're doing great. Great timing, sir. We just wrapped up a robust discussion about Hudson Valley Venom. So, and of course, our tourism director gave some great supportive insights from the tourism perspective. But it's good timing if the chairman's okay
absolutely.
with it. If you want to add any comments on this matter.
Hey, Jeff, it's good to see you, Jeff, and the rest of the gang. And I appreciate what you guys do. It's not an easy job. And you guys are making it better every day, but it's an important job. And I talked to Bill Fioravanti and obviously Amanda and Connor and everybody over the last couple weeks. I know Pat Manning personally. He used to be a state assemblyman that represented our area in Hudson Valley, and he was very good friends. I know Jeff Chris remembers this guy. He was very good friends with Tom Kerwin, the former assemblyman. They were colleagues together and did great things. So he's a guy I have a lot of faith in. I think this is a great opportunity. I talked to Bill Fioravanti yesterday about this, and I said, I'm willing to try different things, and this is too big of a project to let go by. And I think that just support from the IDA, I've asked Rick Golden, who I think is the best attorney in the state, municipal attorney. Most of the private projects have hired him. The county is limited on what we can do. We can't give out grants like the state of New York or like the IDA can. I can help put money into tourism. That's why you see Amanda so sold on this. But I think it's a good project, and I really appreciate you guys considering this. And they're booked and ready to go this fall. So this isn't like, well, maybe we're not sure. This is happening, and the more that we can all get behind it, the more it'll be successful, because they're able to put more investments in the project. So we saw it successful in Poughkeepsie. They want to bring that success here to Newburgh, and I think it's worthwhile. And I think that you guys can help out, and I appreciate your consideration with it. And you guys know I'm very cooperative how I work with you. I'm not a bully, and I'm just giving my personal support on it. And I'm going to do everything I can with the county legislature and to support our tourism as they support and grow this as well. And with that, I'll shut up, Jeff. And Bill, unless you guys have any questions for me.
Thanks so much for chiming in. We appreciate it.
appreciate that very much, Steve. We had, as Bill pointed out, a very detailed discussion. We're gonna need to wrap it up for tonight, but we're poised to take next steps, look into possibilities, opportunities very promptly since there's urgency there.
Mr. Chairman?
Great.
I
And I
wanted
look
to,
forward to, we got an exciting week ahead of us, guys. We got a lot of big and exciting and diverse projects coming in the next few days to make presentations and meet with people. And then over the next 30 days, I think it's going to be exciting time for Orange County. And the IDA, Orange County, the partnership, all these different agencies, the Chamber of Commerce are going to be front and center to make these happen. So I appreciate the opportunity tonight, guys.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Second. I wondered, Mr. Chairman, if we could ask our general counsel to chime in. I know we need to wrap this up soon, but she could make, we've talked about loans, a lot of things have been thrown out there. They could tell us what course of action is even possible and how we'll wrap this up even in a subsequent meeting.
I don't know if you're comfortable with that, Sue. We're really getting tight on time. This may be just too involved the subject.
Well, I think to your point and all of the comments received tonight, I think that this could be a very promising project. I think we need additional information to analyze, and I commit to you and the board, and Jean and I will review the additional information that's been requested as soon as we get it, and to the extent additional questions arise out of that, we'll ask. But we will do our best to find a path forward for the board to consider if there's something we want to do with respect to this project. To clarify the record, this is a request of the OCFC. The IDA cannot provide grants. It is not allowed to do so under the general municipal law. So this request has to be before the OCFC. And we will review the additionally requested information as soon as we have it. And I heard you say, Mr. Chairman, that the board would be willing to have a special meeting. We understand the time sensitivities around this, and we will do our best.
Thank you, Sue. Appreciate that. So thank you for being here tonight, and Amanda for all the input.
Sir.
Doc?
Yes, I'm wondering, do you have any feasibility studies or economic impact studies that you can bring to the board?
I do not. I can see if we can find one from another team, but not for us. No, we don't. No, Amanda has been doing a lot of study on that.
I can try to get my hands on a similar study. So I know they're doing a study right now in Springfield, Massachusetts, for a minor league hockey team right now. So I don't know if it's completed yet, but the same consultants that served Orange County is also serving Springfield, Massachusetts specifically for a minor league hockey team. So I'll see what they can share. I'll certainly try to do that.
Thank you. Have a good night. We'll be in touch.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate it.
Good night, Jeff.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
See you later.
I just have one question. If we do this, is Linda gonna be allowed to drive the Zamboni?
You got a logo
I think
on
you
it?
should be goalie.
You got me. We have several other things just briefly on the agenda. We'll try to wrap it up as quick as we can and get to you guys. I apologize for the length of our meeting. I didn't foresee it taking quite that long. So moving on to the accept June, July 2024 financials. Mark, the committee reviewed those?
Yes. We already talked about it.
We did the
well-
reports, but we haven't voted to accept
Yeah,
them, right?
we have to do the board approval of the payables and the financials and the CD investment option, just briefly.
You reported, but I don't think we
We did the
accepted
committee
financial
reports.
did we?
Okay,
I had run out
Sorry
of
about
room at
that.
one point, but
Yeah,
we only did.
we
individual
did jump
ones, I think.
ahead with Hudson Valley Venom to get that out of the way.
This, but we haven't done this.
okay.
Sue's got her hand up.
So it's,
Sue,
Well, Jeff, I just want to clarify, because I'm guessing there's a little bit of confusion, and I joined late because I couldn't get into the meeting, but when I joined, I believe that Mark had reported out as to what the finance committee.
Yeah, I thought we
Recommendations,
did that, I
right?
thought we did that, and we said we didn't need a vote for it. We did not need a vote.
we need a vote for
For the
this part
reports.
though, right?
To accept the
Correct,
finance-
but I think he doesn't need to repeat it. You
Okay.
can just make the motion to approve the financials because it's already been reported out. That was my only point, if
Okay.
there was confusion.
And can we do both the financials and the payables in the same motion?
We've been doing that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So unless someone has a question, I would entertain a motion to accept those from the finance.
I'll make the
committee.
motion.
By Giovanni, second to that motion.
Second.
Dean, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Did you have a question, Mark?
So you were gonna, because you had said you had a comment, yes.
I actually, the Orange County funding, yes, I'm good with aye.
Oh, okay, got it. And the CD, do we need to, we didn't take action earlier, right?
We didn't take action, and
Okay.
with the new information, it's good that we didn't take action because
Yes,
there, so we should move on.
Great.
okay. Unless there's any other business to come before the OCFC, am I forgetting something,
No,
Bill?
sir. Nope.
Motion to adjourn would be welcome. By Dean, second. Giovanni, you okay? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Welcome, everybody, to the Orange County Industrial Development Agency meeting for August 14th, 2024. The time is 6:12. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please, Bill.
Jeffrey Christ.
Here.
Dean Tamburri.
Here.
Dr. Vincent Odock.
Yeah.
Mark Green.
Here.
Linda Muller.
Here.
Giovanni Palladino.
Here.
6 of 7 members are present. Also present are staff members, Kelly Riley, Bill Fioravanti, myself, and Marty Barras. Also Mr. Jose Rojas from Acquisitions Marketing doing our AV. And we have a number of guests. We have Mr. Brian Savage from Anshin. We have Ms. Jane Samuelson, Katie Lancelotti, Dr. Erica Hackman, and I'm sorry.
Hi, my name's Sienna.
Hi, Sienna. And Sienna this year. Goes by Sienna. Those are our attendees.
Welcome to all of you. And proof of notice we have in our packets that is documented. And I'd like to move on to the minutes, page 4. For any additions, corrections, a motion to approve.
I make that motion.
Motion to approve by Mark. You weren't here. You were, by Dean.
Absolutely.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Abstain.
it's the same, and 2 abstentions, Linda and Giovanni. My chairman's report, I'll keep very short. It is good news in my mind, and I'm excited to have been able to appoint Linda Muller for governance chairperson. She'll do the governance committee meeting report in just a few moments. The only other couple of highlights, I'm excited about our new logo and website work. More details to come on that. There's one kind of neat opportunity in Port Jervis on a site for industrial use, but the environmental review is done there, and there's some other attributes to that site which could be very interesting. So look forward to more with that. Bill and I met with the mayor of Port Jervis. Is that right?
We did?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was thinking town supervisor for a sec, but, okay, Chairman, CEO report.
Would you mind if I push mine to the end of the meeting so we
Yeah,
get
I
our
think
guests
that's
out
a-
of the way?
that's a good
Because I was going
idea.
to do a little presentation that these folks.
Oh,
wanted to
okay,
see.
excellent. Yes, you're welcome to stay longer if you want.
You can stay for sure. You might kick me out.
Finance Committee, Mark.
Can we, would it be
Yeah,
appropriate?
yeah, is that okay, Sue, to push the Finance and
Official reports.
Governance Committee to the back? And that'll bring us right up to the Vision Hudson Valley request related to their Orange County 2025 Quality of Life Study. They were here last month and they've been here previously, and the thought process has been developed. We asked them to bring a brief overview and provide any updates. They provided a very nice handout at the last meeting. I think everybody, did you see that, Giovanni?
I have extra copies too.
And we actually had a couple minutes earlier, we shared a copy of the 2015 Quality of Life Report to give board members a little more depth and idea about it. So, Katie,
Yes.
Jane,
Hi again. Nice to see
Good
you.
to see
Thank
you.
you again for the opportunity. So at the last meeting, and Bill is passing it out, we did supply you guys with a timeline budget for our research and secured potential investors. Additionally, we had letters of support, which are also included in the packets that Bill is passing out. We have looked into additional sponsors and have received a commitment from the Orange County Partnership for $2,500, which I know was an ask last time that we were here. We have also received a good indication from Resorts World that they will commit to $2,500 as well. I know in your packets it's going to say $5,000. That was the last iteration of this packet, but they're comfortable with $2,500, so that is what we will be asking for. We also have feelers out to Legoland, Orange and Rockland, and are looking to connect with Amazon as well. So since our last meeting, our main focus has been working on and organizing our focus groups. So for each of the 8 sections that we have, we've identified key players in their respective fields to provide insight as to whether or not the quality of life indicators that we currently have are what we should be going forward with, or if there's any other indicators we should be bringing into question. I know Bill has agreed to serve on our economy focus group because there is a whole section on the Orange County IDA, so we do want that represented. We would also like each one of you to consider, if that's something you're interested in, looking through the 8 sectors that we have to see if there is a specific sector you would be interested in being a part of the focus group and contacting us or going through Bill to contact us so that we can include you in those focus groups. They will be via Zoom and they will be concise, and we want to make sure everything is included. So tonight we are before you for the last time it was tabled for the additional $10,000, so we are here tonight for that request, and we'll take any questions that you guys have. We appreciate your time again.
Questions, comments from the board?
I will make a comment. This was delayed, unfortunately. We met, the last time we met, actually 2 times ago when we met, we asked them to do certain things. We asked them to find other sponsors. We asked them to find other commitments. They've done everything we've asked. We had a situation at the last meeting where we didn't have enough of a quorum. Therefore, we had to postpone providing the full amount of money that we had verbally said we were going to do if they did the things we asked. They have done the things we've asked, and so I would like to move this forward.
Is that a motion?
Well, I want to allow other people to have questions, but.
Yeah, well, I would ask for any more input and questions. If there's a motion in the second, we can do it, but we can hold
Then
off
I
on
will make
that.
the motion to release the rest of the funds that we had promised originally if they fulfilled that commitment, which they did.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Other discussion, and I think you're right, Mark, it deserves some more discussion. Linda?
So you stated that you're looking for additional sponsors.
Yes.
So could we modify our motion to say that we would allow up to 20,000, but reduced should you get additional? I'm looking at the people who sent you letters of support. I mean, did Garnet say that they were going to be supportive?
Yes.
Did Walden Savings? Because I don't see them on this list. So if you bring in additional dollars, can our amount of money that we're going to support be reduced if the total package is 50,000?
Garnet's on there.
Garnet's on there, and so is Walden Savings.
Oh, I'm sorry, Garnet's there. I
Yeah,
apologize.
Garnet, Walden Savings Bank.
I apologize.
Yeah. Those who have committed, we have listed. But like I said, Resorts World would be lessened.
Resorts World is less, but you picked up someone else?
Yes, we picked up the Orange County Partnership. Resorts World is, so they will.
Partnership,
allow.
2,500.
And then we are still pursuing other
Still a
avenues.
wash between the 25 and the
If you were very successful, let's say you were, you raised additional funds over than above, where would that money go? To the following year, to additional services or whatever? I mean,
Yes, so this is really a phased project. So what we're asking for is really the research part. We are not asking for the funding towards the website, which we will be doing. So we're really just asking right now for research purposes. So any additional funding that we do receive above and beyond goes towards the website production.
Okay.
I think, yeah, about 10 years ago, because it's always every 10 years, I think we gave more than that. I don't know how much, was it up to, was it 50,000?
It was
One-
50,000
Yeah.
for
50,000.
2015.
Yeah.
And going back to what Mark referred to at the first ask, we felt that they needed to bring other partners into this, that it wasn't particularly favorable in our minds to do that same amount, but we wanted to be important partners, and they've gone out and gotten those other partners involved, and it would appear you're pretty close to your budget number, at least for the research part.
Yes. Yeah, we're very close.
Other questions, comments, Giovanni?
I have a two-parter for Bill.
Yep.
Just, pardon me if I'm asking a dumb question, because I wasn't here for the last meeting, but is this a grant, is it donation, the money?
It would be, I guess you'd call it a grant. It is.
Because Sue made a comment before that the IDA can't make a grant, so.
Oh, no, so this would be through OCIDA, right? We are an IDA. Gene, how would you describe what this contribution would be?
Well, actually, I guess you could characterize it as a grant, but you're actually paying a portion, and I'm not sure I would characterize it as a grant, but you're paying a portion of a cost of a study that will help you with economic development initiatives. So, you know, you're sharing a portion of the costs that are consistent with a study that you could get on your own, and certainly in furtherance of, you know, the economic development mission of
Okay.
OCFC and OCIDA.
The second part, Bill, not to put you on the spot, but explain to us how this report could benefit the IDA and how it eventually will benefit the county.
Sure, well, I mean, it helps the idea by helping economic development, and it aids economic development by helping development projects and others that are involved in it really put information at their fingertips that's essential to make their decisions, really. But it's demographic data, it's education levels, all those types of things, infrastructure, you know, so many different areas, healthcare, health of the county, et cetera. So that we have applicants, we have developers that use this type of data for their own analysis. And I think one of the arguments against it is that, well, you know, you can Google a lot of information, you can find it, you know, but this puts it at their fingertips in one place for Orange County. It's kind of another piece of the puzzle that of really what I will say on behalf of our economic development team of what we do so well, where everyone, the information's out there and everyone can do, you know, all the same things, but we make it really easy. We package things properly, we put it at their fingertips, and I think this is another example of that.
All right.
It's a little bit of a marketing tool as well.
Absolutely.
And I think we need to build on that, and for all sponsors to get their name out there.
Agreed.
Doug?
Yeah. In addition to that, the money goes also promotion of the quality of life in the county. So that adds to what you said. So that money is spent that way, improving quality of life.
Yeah, absolutely, which is Vision Hudson Valley's mission. So it's furthering that mission, no question.
Linda?
So this can be funded out of the IDA.
IDA, yes.
And I believe you use some people from SUNY Orange to help with the research work. And could you just detail that a little bit for us?
Sure. So I serve as provost, as Dr. Odock knows, at Orange County Community College. So we will be recruiting student research assistants, both from SUNY Orange and from Mount St. Mary, to actually do the research involved with producing the 8-sector report.
Nice.
And to add to what Dr. Harman just said, students are from different parts of the county. You know, some from Monroe, so that would be a good research too.
Is there an educational component to that?
Absolutely.
Recruiting students to help with their research?
Yeah, absolutely. So I spoke with the provost at Mount St. Mary today, and we were talking about how the actual, the students who may be helping with this report will probably, in some cases, be doing so through their coursework, either through the Mount or through SUNY Orange. So we're finding ways to sort of tailor, you know, the recruitment with the courses where it makes sense, right?
Excellent. Other comments, questions? We prepared to vote? Yes. I'll call the question. All in favor of the motion to support the other 10,000 for a total of 20 to this quality of life study, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Good luck. Congratulations. Thanks for your patience tonight.
Stay in touch.
Yes, absolutely.
That's right.
Yes, I'm gonna check that.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Thanks for your patience.
Appreciate your support.
I don't see this much, but that dress is really pretty.
Oh, thank
You,
Did you enjoy it?
you
you.
can,
Compliments it.
Yes.
See you next week.
you can feel free to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Run, don't walk. Run.
Run for your lives.
Why don't we knock out Fast New York Roasting Site?
Terrific.
Because we have
Connor Ecker, you still with
on,
us?
I believe.
Yes, I am. Thanks for having me today.
Do you want to open this discussion for us, or Bill, do you want?
Let me
Bill will start.
kick it off, and I'll kick it over to Connor. So this is the second time we're talking about Fast New York. Of course, this is the New York State's program that dovetails perfectly with our own Shovel Ready initiative. They launched it really just after we initiated ours. I don't think they stole it from us, but it was coincidental. And really, we were looking to contribute a lot of our own money, our own fund balance, into these types of projects. Fast New York and some other projects that are out there, some other funding sources, allow us to use other people's money for it. So we've worked with the partnership already on Aidenbrook, Fast New York application in the town of Montgomery for a wonderful business park there. We were successful. We were awarded something, about $450,000 roughly. And we're learning a lot through that one because we don't have site control. That's the one thing we have to be aware of, that it's not our property, we don't own it, so we have to work with the owners who are putting up all the money to pursue this in hopes of getting half of it reimbursed in the end. So we're developing an MOU with the Aidenbrook owners. We're working, we have an RFP ready to go. And we've had some delays based on a few things, but again, we're learning through it. But we're really gonna start to take off on that soon. But now we're ready, we have a little capacity to consider another one. So Fast New York, now we're looking at the Roaston site, which is along the Hudson River. I'll let Connor really get into it and talk about the tremendous capabilities for kind of this new era of economic development we have, that we can be right in the center of it in terms of the renewable sector. So it's a site that all of a sudden has gotten a lot of attention. Jeff actually, when I was on vacation, participated in a site tour with an international group that was coming looking at it, again, for a project in the renewable sector. And the state has been involved and visited that site. They know it has great potential for our next level project. So we want to get this site in the pipeline, moving through Fast New York. We would apply for Track B again, same as we did for Aidenbrook, which is really just seeking the entitlements, generic EIS, et cetera, to basically have it be as shovel ready as possible on the approval side. So that's what we're seeking, and Connor is really, I give him a lot of credit for identifying this site, for really mining the opportunity there and leading some of the attraction prospects that we've had. So Connor, if you would, tell us a little bit more about the site and the Fast New York app, please.
Yeah, happy to do it. And again, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be in front of this board. You guys are doing amazing work. It's great to be on the team. And with this site, so the Roaston site, 30 acres. Of course, it's got heavy infrastructure, right? There's an existing power plant on it. It's got maritime infrastructure, really a dolphin with, that's essentially a runway for a Hudson River site, right? That's how you're able to take product off of barges that come down the Hudson River. So over the last year, we've been engaged with opportunities in the offshore wind supply chain and clean tech. So think the production of cables, the production of blades, advanced technology tied to offshore wind. So our ask is, simply we've had some dynamic international opportunities, companies from Europe, companies from Asia, who want to do, in some cases, multi-billion-dollar projects. So we're not just competing with, states along the East Coast, but we're competing with different countries for some of these amazing projects. And the next step to really turn this site into a formidable force, I think, in North America, is to go for the shovel-ready money and to develop what we'll call the first clean tech site in the history of the Hudson Valley, the first offshore wind supply chain site in the history of the Valley. Really amazing opportunity to create some next generation jobs, and happy to answer any questions on the site, but it's something that I think we're particularly excited about, given the amazing opportunities we're seeing pop up almost every other month.
Connor, just to have a sense of how much time we have, when do you have to catch your plane? Because he is on vacation on Miami Beach right now. Really, when do you have to board your plane? Shortly?
I've got another 30 minutes.
Okay, all right.
I've got another 30 minutes.
All right, super. Thanks for doing
no,
this.
That's, if you hear some background music, it's almost impossible to find a quiet place in there. So this is what I'm doing.
Is this the old Dynegy?
But happy to answer any questions on the site.
No, this is not Dynegy site, right, Connor? No, Dynegy is
Further.
exactly. It's Indian Point further.
Dance camera?
It's proximate to Dance Gamer. Can you talk about that, Connor? About the proximity to Dance Gamer?
Yeah, so it's directly contiguous to Dance Gamer. The two plants are affiliated at a time, and now the plant, the roasting plant, is owned by a international energy company called Castleton Commodities International. But they are directly contiguous, Dance Gamer and roasting. And when you look at, I think the clean tech sector generally, the site having the maritime infrastructure, having the heavy electrical infrastructure, and then the rail line makes it, I think, one of the more unique sites that we've seen in clean tech. Probably, I would say, certainly in the Northeast, perhaps in the country.
So Connor, we know that, so Dance Camera is still producing energy, correct? It's like a peaker plant or something, is that the?
Yes.
And there's no activity, right? There's no activity at Roaston, right? But there's a. Go ahead.
Yeah, yes, sir. So Dance Gamer peaker plant and Roaston is currently still an operational plant that bids into the NISO daily. So this, in part, given some of the energy innovation and opportunities we're seeing on a real estate basis, this is, us working with CCI to be as proactive and prepared for this new economy as possible. So they're currently operating as a power plant, but we're looking at, the chessboard of opportunities, and it seems like getting the site shovel ready for advanced manufacturing and clean energy is the future.
So that's what it would be, like a manufacturing site, and the plant is still going to produce energy. Is that correct? I mean, it's like the peaker plant is still going to continue to run.
Yeah, so I think that remains to be seen. There's a few arrangements that can be made, whether it's a sale of the site entirely and a redevelopment, a subdivision of the site, keeping the plant operational, but using the residual land for development. But a lot of the conversations we've had are with respect to companies wanting to acquire the entire site, including the power plant infrastructure.
And just to clarify, at this stage, all the board is being asked to approve is the first step in the ESD process, which is the agency needs to submit a form saying we intend to apply for a fast shovel-ready grant. And then the process is ESDC will say yes or no, you can apply, and then the application itself gets put together, and you'll have an opportunity at that point to approve the submission of the application. So this is just the very preliminary step.
Yeah, this was in your packet. As Gene said, it's a form that is a letter of intent, which was completed, that you see in your, and we had hoped, frankly, to get your okay on that and maybe have you authorize us to send the application, but Gene was wary of that, saying the board really should see the application that you're
What we did about a year ago, too, with the other side.
Exactly, it's exactly what we did with
Proof
Ainsborough.
Step one.
Correct. Chances are, I will just look ahead, chances are we have a special meeting around Hudson Valley Benham. At that time, the application probably would be complete, and you could also review and authorize that as well.
All right. Yeah, okay, so this is the first step.
Well, you won't hear from ESD for 30 days.
Oh, that's true.
Unless they
She's
expedite.
absolutely right.
No, so it would roughly be 7 days.
They're gonna speed it up,
Maximum.
Connor?
No, so the letter of intent to apply form generally falls within 7 to 10 days, but the ESD is returning them within 7 days. And we could work with Empire State Development to have that turned around quicker if needed.
All right, well, we cross that bridge when we get to it. So we submit the LOI and we see what the
Make a motion to submit the application.
Okay, a motion by
I'll second.
Dean, second by Giovanni, to submit the letter of intent to apply, which is the first step and that'll give us all more time to learn about the project and see where we go from here. Any other questions on that motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. I'm an aye as well, so
Motion carries.
6 in favor. Good. Excellent.
Can we let Connor go?
I think we can let you get on your airplane, Connor.
Connor, thanks so much. Safe travels. Keep up the great work. You're doing a tremendous job.
Thank you both, and then thank you to the board for the consideration. This is going to be a really amazing opportunity to create some next generation jobs, and you folks are key partners, so we appreciate your innovation here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Connor.
Thanks, Connor. Have a good trip. Now we move back to the CEO report. Does that make sense?
Yes, please.
Good thought, Phil, to expedite these other two.
Gene, yes. You have a question for him? Gene and Sue.
Oh, they're together.
They're both together, yes.
Jane's been helping us with some of the Best New York stuff.
Gotcha.
Share my screen. I just want to go through our logo and branding. I know we all want to go home at this point, but I want to show you some of this. Our website development is going tremendously well. We've gotten on Zooms, the staff, and with 88 Studios every week, every Friday. I'm driving them crazy because I continue to try and get the most we can out of it, but I'm incredibly proud of it. It's going to be great. It's going to be the best IDA website out there, the most functional, the most transparent, which was one of our goals. Let's make it more functional so it can be more transparent. Coming right along. I included a couple screenshots in the my presentation to you. I'm not showing those now. I just want to focus on the logo. Because we embarked on this process almost 4 months ago now, looking at a name change, looking at a whole new logo, and we're finally there. So we'll go through. This is what we're starting with, of course, our current logo, which is not that old. It's probably about 12 years old now. It was done by A.J. Ross. It had a newer kind of current look, but I will say it's getting tired and it has no meaning. I don't mean, it's a little harsh to say it's meaningless, but it was not developed in with any sort of meaning necessarily. We hired Capacity Marketing after doing an RFP, looking at marketing firms to really help us as a full service agency. Capacity came in, they won that first year of work, in part because they had a full proposal that really met all of our needs, but also they pitched the idea of a rebranding. They thought that with everything we have going on, positively and negatively, and really the changes in the organization, that this was an opportunity to rebrand ourselves and to really take a meaningful look at it, what we could do. Oh, and by the way, we added in 88 Studios, who is of course doing our website. We got to an impasse where I felt we didn't have really enough to work with, and we did use them. We gave them for $1,500. We had them give us 3 other concepts. So I really debated doing that, but it helped kind of dislodge the inertia that we were suffering from. This is just to look at the name change. I'm not going to. This is the only slide on this, to be or not to be, because that's really what it was about. Was, do we want to be known as IDA? Is the IDA have such a negative connotation, that term, the acronym, that we want to get away from it? And we did a full analysis. And basically, we worked with Capacity on possible names. We basically came down to A, B, or C. These are our choices. 1, keep the name the same. B, go with something that was a little more established, institutional, that would frankly match the OCFC. So we have Orange County Funding Corp. The IDA side would be Orange County Development Corporation. We talked about a few other things. In some cases, the acronyms didn't work. Made us Orange County DA, things like that we couldn't do. But OCDC and OCFC, that was an idea. Not exciting, but it fit this established, institutional kind of idea. And the third was a new concept, something that was more current, something more forward thinking, that really connoted innovation and things like that. And this, the best we could do was advance Orange County. And we looked at a lot of things. To me, in my opinion, this is really the strongest one. Acronym aside, it has, which could be a bit divisive, it had something to it. Really, in the end of this analysis, we came down to the fact that we felt we didn't need to change our name, that there was a brand, that there was something to it, there was some prestige to it at some time, but it really took a real knock, obviously, when we had malfeasance and bad actors in here. And we really determined that it was incumbent upon us to just change that image again. Rebrand, it is an opportunity for a new look and a new feel, but also all the efforts we're doing to educate the public on the radio, in public, personal, presentations, everything we're doing, that's the work we need to do, is just rebuild the public trust in and the integrity of that name, and again, the prestige of that name, and just focus on the logo. So we're keeping the name the same. This is material provided by Capacity. They give us a beautiful layout. You'll see, I'm going to show you a lot of images. In part, it's to show you how much work went into it, but then we're going to show you where we ended up. So our goal is to create a visual mark that clearly expresses our primary mission and character, which will attract new business partnerships and set a remarkable foundation for future growth. A lot of things in here. Stakeholder interviews were done. They did their own research. They found out what's our mission, what's our purpose, and then they started working on things like, keywords: diverse, transparent, positive, accessible, confident, experienced, collaborative, creative, innovative, honest, intuitive, things like that. They even started working on little slogans to try and just get us in that space of who are we, what are we working on, building business, bright choice for business, business is growing years, our Orange County is our business. Okay, there's a theme here. We're all about business, period. That is obviously the theme. And it does play into when we're looking at logos with landscapes, of the background, this, that, and the other. I don't want to forget the fact that we're all about business. This is some of the concepts that they were working on initially. Again, working on what we wanted was something memorable, something that maybe could be trademarked, simple modern shapes, clarity at all sizes, which is important in the day of social media, etc. What we wanted to avoid was something stale, boring, or old, something that looked like something else, same old brand, muddy and unclear. These are some of the different concepts we went through, which gave us some direction. This is the first idea they had. This is this bright idea. Kind of reminded me a little bit more of a power company, but a nice, clean, fresh look. And this was even before we got their full presentation. This is their full presentation. You can't see at the top, but it says logo concept A. This was an initial concept. We used some elements from this ultimately. But this, the colors, the sharp edges, it's not all conducive to social media and some other ways you use the logo. So, there's some things we liked, but wasn't so sure. In everything they sent us, they would show it in application, and embossed in a logo, in a letterhead, things like that. So it did help. Another idea they had with his overlapping intersections, things like that. I hated it. This was an idea, we liked some things about it. We liked the circle, the emblem of it. A bit about the landscape. This is nice, except for the fact that it looks like, I'm not sure what we're spewing into the air here. So some things that obviously we all just, it elicits right off the bat. Here is, I think, their most complicated one, an attempt to put an OC in there. You've got a little bit of landscape. You do have some growth with city and business, et cetera, et cetera. And again, they'll tell you with everything. Their whole presentation explained why the design was what it was. And then we went to 88, because we were kind of stuck here saying, none of these are it, for sure. We knew that. Went to 88 for some different ideas, and they went a simpler route. And by the way, I should have said this from the get-go. You're not allowed to like any of these. So I'm showing them to you, but they're not it. So you don't like them. They are nice, though. Most of the designs are very nice. Dean and his crew at 88 went with something simple. They wanted to go with an interlocking OC, but keep it very, very simple. They had that, a little bit of variation on that. This is something using a direction, which also creates kind of a water drop in there. Doesn't apply to us, but it was an interesting idea. And I do think this one is kind of fun and visually, nice, but still not ours. I was looking for something with some meaning, frankly. So we were at an impasse. This is not a potential logo. Yeah, exactly. That was me for a little while.
I had to stop taking Bill's calls and emails.
I know you did, and all the texts about it. It was terrible. We even went back to the page where they looked at different themes and said, all right, can you give us a totally different one? And we went with this orange cross-section I got kind of hung up with for a little bit, and they even did this. You got like the battery looking, and then someone pointed out the fact that we don't have oranges here. It may be our name, and it may be on the tree, which maybe makes no sense in the county seal. But outside of that, it's not our business. People would think Orange County, Florida, or Orange County, California. And by the way, to boot, our chairman happens to be an apple farmer. So, and then we went together to the tour, Orange County Tourism unveiling of their branding, and it was an apple. So that was the end of the orange there. But basically what we decided to do, and I would give the staff a lot of credit for just kind of helping me just get stuck out of the rut I was in with it, and we picked a couple elements that we liked, and we figure out, we went back to capacity and say, what can we do to bring it together? And I'm not showing you about the 15 iterations that went in between, but we landed on what we have now, which is this image right here, Orange County Industrial Development spelled out, rather than just saying IDA, though you need to have what they'll call a stacked version, which is this next image, which is more appropriate for, I keep mentioning social media, you've got something up in the corner, you may not be able to see the full logo, so this is an example of that. And let me just show you the breakdown, because everything does have its meaning. To me, the idea of this is a building, a pretty modern looking building, or maybe a set of buildings that's set up there up by itself, and that is a sign on the building. To me, that is our business. We are the business, the outcome, the product of our business is a building with a sign on it, with a company name on it, that employs people that are inside. That's what we do. Or it could be a housing development. That could actually be a mixed income apartment building. But it's a building that's out there. So it's got, everything has a little element to it. These are the buildings. All the shapes in the logo reflect buildings and infrastructure, the growing scale of business in Orange County. Of course, the real trick to it is that's a building with a sign on, but then as this says, you reverse your vision, and we've got a flag here, and it's a flag with orange on it. To me, that reflects, I've been in this business 12 years, it's a competition. There's a reason that Maureen Hallahan always likes to attract former athletes to her, because she wants people that are competitive, that want to win, and that's how we are. It's one of the reasons, frankly, that I didn't want to, in the end, decide to have this be part of the New York State retirement system, because then it would become kind of a county type job, and no disrespect to all my colleagues and very close friends out there, but I want to stay a strong, hungry, more private sector oriented type of organization. And that flag represents exactly what we're looking to do. We want to plant our flag down there with Orange County on it, and I just love the play on it. A couple other elements, the rolling hills. Again, we didn't want kind of the stark look of this. We took that element, but we added the rolling hills that we got from the other one. So, because that's Orange County. Obviously, it's not just a flat piece of land. We got beautiful rolling hills, there's something to it. And the other hidden meaning here is they said it also kind of connotes a seedling ready to grow, so that experience. Even the blank space has meaning. Open air, we broke open the inner circle, symbolizing a sincere desire for transformation and new ideas for the future of both the IDA and for the community. So there's a lot to it, but it's also simple at the same time. We got a whole, now that it was completed, we got a whole set of logos in various colors, different ways that we're going to look at it, that we can use inverted, et cetera, white version, all of that. And we're going to have some graphic standards that will come with it that will be used for the website, social media, saying, use it in this size, you must have this much space around it, so there's consistency to it. But it's a clean look, it has meaning. I'm not going to explain it to everybody, but I want you to know that it was something that came about with some real intentionality to it. And I'm really proud of it. I think that's the end of it. So that's what I want to focus on.
Do you have one that shows the NY?
I don't. That's a little piece we're still trying to figure out.
Okay.
So I did show Jeff some versions. Frankly, I've been playing in PowerPoint myself, doing like amateur graphic design on some of this, so I didn't drive the marketing companies as even more nuts. But I did have a version where at the end here of agency, there's a little round, another little orange circle with an NY in there. We are a little concerned that in some places there's a need for us to make it clear that we're Orange County, New York. So on the website, we're looking at a few ways. One with a little button like that, perhaps a designation somewhere else in the banner that says NY. When I go to the New York State Economic Development Council to the conference, I don't need to make it clear that I'm from New York. That's clear. Or any of our work in the region. But again, when we go out of the area or website or some of our material that may be sent out in an advertisement, that's something I think we'll have to find a way. So we're still working on that piece. For sure.
Thanks.
Any questions, comments, feedback? Can we live with it?
Yeah.
Terrific. Sir?
Now, just for curiosity, did you see other counties that have changed and then from IDA to something else?
Some, but not that much. You find that most of them are staying. And I think when Jeff and I went to the last conference in Albany, we spent a quarter of the time looking at the screen there in the corner. It was spinning everyone's logos on there and just kind of study what everyone's logos are. I would say it's probably at least 3/4 of the agencies that are IDAs are still known as IDAs, and some others use things like the agency or Think Duchess as you had. They actually retain the name IDA usually, but they use it doing a DBA, doing business as, some other fancier name. But again, 3/4 are probably keeping their name, I should say, keeping it, about rebranding. But this is going to be one of the sleeker logos that you will see out there from IDA, no doubt. Okay? I appreciate that.
Any other comments? I know it's getting late.
It is. Thanks for your appreciate your
Thank you,
patience
Phil.
on
There's a
that.
lot of work that went into that.
And I'm excited to show you the website, which should launch late September, at the latest, early October, if we have any glitches at all. Sue, can you see us again? Okay, great.
Yes, I can.
Thanks.
Moving on to Finance Committee, briefly.
As far as things go, a positive, we actually got an application fee for $2,500, so woo-hoo for that. Most of the rest of what is in line with previous months as far as expenses go. We will have to discuss reinvesting CD because it does come due before our next meeting, and so we'll do that a little bit later, I believe, Chairman. There is one thing that I would like to point out. We have, an expense that is 4 times more than any other expense that we have. And I think it's important that we point that out, and that we all recognize that close to $74,000 has left our coffers, has left our county, has left our citizens, and is now residing in Albany. And I think that's important that everyone recognizes that our largest expense by 4 times this month was for expenses that were caused by our state senator, James Skoufis. And I think that anybody that's listening or is going to listen, they should call Mr. Skoufis up and ask him how they can get a job for $250,000. So that is money that will not be spent on our county, that will not be spent on our citizens. That money is now gone. And so I think that's important that everyone knows that.
Questions for Mark? We'll move on to Governance Committee. Linda, please.
Yes, so right now I'm being challenged to work on the bylaws for the corporation as well as the handbook. After a review of the bylaws, there were a couple of things that we were gonna have to take up in another meeting, but just so that you're aware, everybody has a copy of the most recent bylaws. Under Article 3 of the officers, there is reference to an assistant secretary. That position is not filled currently, and my recommendation would be that we remove the assistant secretary's position. There's 7 members. That would make the officers pretty heavy. And then in the mission statement, which as we look at branding and rebranding, there's a word in our mission statement under number 3, it's assistant expanding manufacturing opportunities. That is a really narrow lane for us to be in, and we need to come up with some other language that would allow us to look at that something might not be a manufacturing job. So those are the 2 things that I've identified in the bylaws. The bylaws have not always been reviewed and approved by the board on a yearly basis. We will correct that. That will happen going forward. And then the HR manual, we'll work on that.
Questions for Linda? And I think you passed out the couple minor initial changes in the bylaws.
Yes,
to the board tonight.
everybody has them.
I don't have a question. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
absolutely.
And I do really want to drive the Zamboni.
You hooked her.
We'll see what we can do.
June and July 2024 financials, as well as the same month's payables. And actually that includes some in August. We did review them in Finance Committee. We need to take action on them. If anybody wants to go into more detail or ask questions from the board packet, give a shout. Otherwise, I would suggest a motion to approve those two items.
I'll make the motion.
I'll
By
second.
Giovanni, second by Linda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm abstaining.
Opposed, the same, with one abstention. And CD, investment option, did you want to just touch on that pending decision on September 5th, I think?
Yes.
Yes. Son of a gun. So September 5th, our CD does come due. I believe it is a large, I apologize. It is coming due on September 5th. It is a JP Morgan T-bill of roughly $2.5 million. We've discussed this several times, but to keep, so there's really a twofold discussion. One, do we agree that we want to keep with the staggered situation, so every 3 months a CD comes due so that we have cash readily available. So I asked that just informally, if everyone's good with that, that we're going to do that.
Yes.
And then the next step would be to say we have a choice of a 9-month investment, and that really comes down to two options. That comes down to either a Lakeland Bank at 4.6% or a JP Morgan Treasury at 4.46%, but you probably have to take out that 0.06 for fees. So in real time, that JP Morgan is 4.40%. I think we've kind of discussed this a little bit. I'm fine with doing Lakeland. If anyone is not comfortable with that, perhaps speak up. I'm assuming we're good there. So then, Linda, I would really appreciate it if you made the motion because you said it so much better than I did.
Sure, happy to. The board authorizes Bill Fioravanti to re-engage for the investment and using the institution with the highest yield.
Was that a motion?
That's
Yes.
Can I second that motion?
Sure.
I second that motion.
Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And I believe that wraps up a fairly involved night of meetings
Yes, it
and
was.
agenda items, so sure appreciate everybody's interest, some neat things going on. And there's emergency on some things to proceed if we find the right path forward, so thank you for your guidance, Sue, and Jane probably hopped off, I don't blame
Yes, you
her.
do. Yeah, should we get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn,
I
yes.
hope you feel better.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn
So moved.
by Linda, second by Dean. All in favor, please say aye. Meeting adjourned.